Need for Speed No Limits VR for Daydream has finally launched. Google had teased the game from the very first unveiling of Daydream, and now it is here. I had already liked the game when I played it on Android in non-VR times, but now that I have played the VR version of it, there is absolutely no going back to non-VR racing games anymore. Need for Speed No Limits VR is simply spectacular. Like always, Need for Speed is about relentless street races that have different racing crews battle it out on the streets of Blackridge. The game features 60 events on 12 tracks that have to be won in order to become the number one street racer. On your way through those 60 events, you earn reputation and money that you invest in faster cars and in upgrades for those cars. Need for Speed No Limits VR does not reinvent the racing game genre, but why change the arcade street racing formula that works perfectly fine? Anyways, the game is about speed and racing action in VR, and that is where it shines. When you sit in your car, look around the cockpit and see your opponents coming up in the rearview mirror, you know, this is what virtual reality was made for. You are in that street race now, and no police car or rival can stop you on your way to become the number one. If you have never played any racing game in VR, then this title will surely be a great start, and without a doubt, if you want to show off VR to somebody who never tried it, just put them in a Porsche 911 and let them feel the adrenaline for themselves. Racing games are just so perfect for VR. Being able to look around does make a difference when you want to see where your opponents are, and unlike playing on a screen, you will naturally look into the rearview mirror as you would do in real life. Need for Speed No Limits VR lets you drive 30 different real-life cars. From a Lamborghini Aventador to a Porsche 911, you can finally feel how it is to drive one of those dream cars. The control scheme works like this. You point your motion controller into the direction that you want to drive. That was a surprise for me first, because I imagined you would hold the motion controller in two hands like a steering wheel. Directly during the first race though, I found that this way of steering works perfectly fine, and that holding the motion controller with two hands would probably be very tiring. Swiping up on the touchpad will activate Nitro to give you a speed boost, and clicking the touchpad while steering will result in your car sliding through the curves. The control scheme is easy to pick up and works like a charm. The events you take part in are bite-sized action spectacles that will not take longer than 3 minutes. Perfect for a mobile VR game. You will participate in open street races, engage in one-on-one battles to rank higher in the street racer hierarchy, and you have to race against the clock. But anyways, the only thing you really have to do is drive as fast as you can. After each level, you will not only get to know how you rank in your local game, but your time will also appear on the worldwide leaderboards, and you can see how you stack up against other fellow Daydreamers. Unfortunately, you won't be able to race against others online directly, so there's definitely room for improvement in the multiplayer department. On your way to the finishing line, you will be attacked not only by your opponents, but also by pesky police patrols that will want to stop your street race. Good thing that the game rewards you with a full nitro bar when you take them out by making them crash. The game looks fantastic, especially when taking into consideration that we are on a first generation mobile VR device. Need for Speed No Limits VR is without a doubt one of the best looking games that you can get for Daydream VR right now. Cockpits are detailed enough to make you believe you are sitting in a Porsche, and the relentless action of the street will have you pump out that adrenaline in no time. The racing tracks look good with lots of detail, and you would even get the so loved light reflections on the rainy streets. It's just that good. Unfortunately, sometimes the frame rate will take a hit and the action is not perfectly smooth all the time. Your Daydream ready phone is being brought to its absolute limits, and you can tell. If you don't go for the overheating hack, as proposed in one of my videos, you will probably only be able to play around 20 minutes before the game starts to slow down. Hopefully the Daydream phones in 2017 will be more powerful and last longer. As it is, I have to deduct points because of the slowdowns here, since I have to rate the game on the hardware that we have available right now. Need for Speed No Limits VR is my go-to game in terms of immersion. No other game, except probably Gunjack 2, would make you feel so present within the game. You will find yourself looking at the rearview mirror just as if you would be sitting in a real car. You will take a peek at your speed indicator and look right out of the window to see your opponent disappear as you overtake him. You simply have to experience this yourself. I was surprised that even though the game is so fast and has you race like this, I had no problems whatsoever comfort-wise. You will always have the cockpit as your frame of reference, which does not move. This will help you not to get sick. Need for Speed No Limits VR is a great first foray into racing games for Daydream VR and a must-play for anyone that is only slightly interested in the genre. But even if racing games are normally not your thing, Need for Speed No Limits VR is something that should be experienced because it is simply breathtaking to sit behind the wheel in VR for the first time. There is still room for improvement in terms of consistent frame rate here because EA really pushed those first generation Daydream phones quite to the limit. But still, this is a racing game to play on mobile VR. See you on the streets of Blackridge. For the full written review of Need for Speed No Limits VR, go to daydreamdistrict.com. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up to let me know you want more, and of course subscribe to Daydream District to never miss any awesome Daydream District content in the future.